I'm Kate, and we're doing a talk today on JSON. It's very specifically making JSON calls from the Android mobile platform. However, we'll be talking a while about JSON as a concept, and then the actual Android part will be augmented by puppets. No, not the development coding term puppets, actual brown bag puppets. So if you don't know Android, that's cool. You'll probably understand it by the end of this talk. I really don't believe in being bored, and that's why this all came about. I also believe very much in audience interactivity, so feel free to raise your hand and ask a question, or just yell like, your jokes suck. That's cool too. Maybe not that, just tweet that so I don't have to see it till later, but yeah. So here's the game plan. We're going to talk, as I said, a little bit about what JSON is. We're going to talk about how JSON calls, or how JSON returns are structured, and what they look like, how to look through them for specific information. And then we're going to walk through an example with Android. A little bit about me before we get started. My name is Kate Catlin, as I said, not Kate Caitlin. My parents are very mean. They made such a confusing name. And I am an Android developer at a mobile app agency called Detroit Labs. So have any of you used the Domino's Pizza app? We made that app. So we're very cool. No, Detroit is not an abandoned post-apocalyptic city with zombies everywhere. There's a lot of great tech things going on. So it's a fun company. And more specifically, the reason that this talk came about was I was an apprentice with Detroit Labs. And as part of the apprenticeship, we are basically forced to give a talk either for the company or for a local user group. So I did both. I like talking. But this apprentice program I just want to talk about for a brief moment. If any of you are looking to switch into mobile, or your only experience with development thus far has been like you on codeacademy.com alone crying to yourself, this is the perfect program for you. It's 3 months, 3 to 4 if you don't get by in 3. They pay you while they train you. It's like the most ridiculously good deal in the world, super cool company to work for, etc. And this is not what I'm here to talk about, but very briefly, I just started a little company called Women Rising. And hey, look around you, there's not that many women in this room. Surprise! So the whole idea is sort of like networking, but actually in real life. So you're algorithmically paired 3 women at a time each month with another woman who shares your career goals and your industry. Or you can opt into a different industry if you're trying to switch. And the whole idea is just creating solidarity. Right now it's only in Detroit, but if you want to bring it to your city, come talk to me afterwards. All 5 of you who are here. Cool. So let's get back to JSON. How many of you remember when you were learning to code, or maybe you still are, and you Googled what a JSON call was? Hopefully some of you remember that. This is what you get when you Google it. This, to me, is a bunch of crap. I don't know what any of this means if I'm not an experienced coder. It looks like a bunch of mumbo-jumbo that someone who's been coding so long they forgot to explain things in English would say. I didn't like any of these definitions. So when I was learning to code, I wrote my own. So a JSON call is a very specific request for information. You are asking for that information from not just a website, but a specific API website, which gathers info from that source, which is usually data, and then returns it in one super, super, super long string. And this string is structured such that you, with your meager human eyes, can look at it and kind of read what's going on. But then you can also give it to a computer, and the computer can search really quickly for colons and quotation marks and stuff, and pull out the information that you need. And this is what a JSON string looks like. Yeah, so I said humans can read it, but not that easily, right? Which is why we use parser classes to help us figure it out. Cool. So what can we get from our friend JSON? We're primarily looking for data. Those of you who have ever learned Android have probably done the infamous weather app. That's the one that all of the code companies teaching things seem to use. You make a request for the weather in your zip code. It returns to you the current temperature, the daily highs and lows, blah, 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 all in this big, long string format that looks just like this. I made up this one, but if there was a New York Times API, you could ping it, and it might send you back this structured list once again of data on the books, what the bestsellers are, their name, their description, how much they've sold this week, blah, blah. Yeah, and again, all in that big, long string format. Is everyone feeling good so far? We're going to play a game called thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs middle. So if you totally know what I'm talking about, thumbs up. If you're like, hey, I kind of pretty much get it, but I'm not uncomfortable enough yet to ask you a question, thumbs middle. If you're lost and you want to ask a question, thumbs down. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, I'm the best speaker ever. OK, so, so this is more specifically what a JSON looks like when we zoom in on one object. So this one I'm going to use comes from a dictionary API, which means I pinged it, and I asked specifically for the parameter of definitions that had the word love in them. So it returned to me back this word, devotion. How romantic. And this is the JSON object for devotion. As you can see, a JSON object always starts with curly brackets, not square ones, curly, because curly ones are more exciting. And then this really important point is the key value pairing part of it. This is how your computer figures out so quickly the information that it wants. So if you see on the right side, there's that category called source dictionary, and then there's a colon which says, hey code, hey computer, this is a key value pairing, this is what you're looking for. And then the thing next to it is like the thing that's in that category. So in this case, the source dictionary for our word devotion was one called AHD Legacy. I didn't even know that existed. Amazing. JSON, so much information. And then there's another key value pairing, again, citations. Apparently there was no citations for devotion. And another one, which is score. By the way, does anyone know how they score dictionary words? Because that was intriguing to me. No? OK, me neither. So another very important aspect of JSON. Again, we started off with the whole curly bracelet. But here's the thing. There is not just one word in all of the dictionaries in all of the world that has the word love in the dictionary definition, right? There's apparently 1,523. So when we get that JSON call back, we're not just getting one object. We're getting an array of objects. So we start one huge JSON object up there, and then we go into a JSON array called results. And then within the results array, we go into more JSON objects, like little baby objects. And so, for example, the first one is devotion. The second one is, I don't know, it's cut off. We'll never know. But it is a whole new object in and of itself. And it's a whole new JSON object, but it's a whole new word as well. But then, to make it more complicated, so we had this whole object that was a JSON return. And then within that, we had an array called results. And then within that, we had another JSON object called festination, apparently. But then within that object, within an array, within an object, we have another array, which is the beauty of JSON. You can nest things within nest things within nest things. So, for example, we have an array of examples. So we have an array of 2 more JSON objects under the example category. And then there's another array within an example, or within an object within an array. And this one is definitions. So below that, we have, just to get the scope on this, this is a JSON object within a JSON array called definitions, within a JSON object called festination, within a JSON array called results, within a JSON object called the big-ass JSON object, pardon my French, that you downloaded from the internet. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs middle? Oh, awesome. OK, so now we're going to get our hands dirty with a little actual code. If you're like me and you only pay attention to every third sentence that anyone says, you might want to go back and follow an example. So if you'd like to download the GitHub file, send it to your friend, that is the source. I'll also display that URL a couple more slides down, so you can keep getting it if you don't have it right now. But there's lots of nice little notations in there, et cetera, so you can see what's going on line by line. Even if you don't code Android, it should be so simple, you should know how to do it. This is also where we're going to pause and, oh no, not yet, actually, just kidding. Puppets are coming later. But yeah, so now we're going to jump in with an Android call. Everyone nod your head and smile. Cool. So today we will be making the Etsy app. Does everyone know what Etsy is? Who cares? I'm going to tell you. So it's like Amazon.com, but for handmade goods. So if you hand make chess pieces, Etsy is the place where you're going to sell them. If you hand make dresses, if you hand make RPG characters that you paint, cool. Whatever it is, you can sell it on Etsy as long as it's handmade and crafty. If you include the word organic in there, it probably sells for twice as much. Our Etsy app is going to be very, very simple. All we're going to ask JSON for is 2 little bits of information. What is the most recent post on Etsy? What's the most recent thing someone posted? What's it called? And what's the description? And when we click that button, it's going to make the whole JSON call, return that information, and throw it up on that screen. Yes, it is a beautiful app. I'm an artist. So there are 5 big steps within making the JSON call for this. Number 1, and this is an important one, because if you don't do it, you will spend hours throwing your computer at walls, eventually out a window, and then you have to buy a new computer, and there's a long line at the Apple Store. It's very frustrating. You can't forget on Android to give yourself internet permissions. This is especially important because Android Studio sucks at telling you when you've forgotten internet permissions, so then you get extra frustrated. But yeah, very simple. Copy and paste that line, over and done. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs middle. Yeah, I hope everyone's thumbs up on that one. OK, second, we're going to actually create an async task. Now, again, this is JSON calls 101. Sorry, you don't get 102 or 205, where you would learn more complicated things like REST and blah, blah, blah. Today, we are going to use the bigger, or the little training wheels version of all that, which is async tasks. And why do we use that? Hold your horses. We'll get back to that. But you're going to call it from somewhere in your main display, and it's going to send you on to a different thread. And then very quickly, just to run through this, there's three little parameters in there. The first one there is what you're passing in. So if I were making like the dictionary app and calling for words with love in the definition, I would pass in a string right there instead of void, and I would pass in the string love. But today we're not doing that. We're making the most simple app ever, so we're passing in void. We're passing in nothing. Second is the progress units. If you want to have a progress bar while you're loading all of this, that's where you'll throw that. We're also not going to do that today. And third is what you're actually trying to get out of your JSON call. Again, we're trying to get 2 strings. We're trying to get an array of 2 strings, so we're returning an array of 2 strings. But wait a minute, what's an async task, and why do I need it? So this gets us into that Android concept of like multi-threading. So, for example, it's a lot like having your friend help you get ready for a cookie party. So say you are having a cookie party. You have to do 2 things. One is that you have to go to the store and buy the ingredients for the cookie party. The other thing is that you have to stay home and clean your house. Now, if we didn't have an async task, we would stop cleaning our house, we would leave the store, it would take a long time, there would be traffic, we would get back, our house would still be messy, and we'd be awkwardly cleaning it, all the while your guests are staring at you thinking, I'm never using this app again. So figuratively, on your app, if you did this all on the main thread, everything would freeze up, no one could touch anything. You know, millennials like me would get bored, they'd probably download the whole thing before your async task ever came back. So it's very, very important that we do our JSON calls on a background thread and not on the front thread of our app. Does everyone feel good about this? Cool. There's 2 big methods within our async task. This one is called do in background. This basically means do all the important things and get us the information. So this is what's going to call up to the website, bring back a bunch of bytes, translate the bytes into a string, and then we have that big long string I was showing you earlier. This part right here is where we're actually going to parse through the whole big long string and get the 2 pieces of very small information that we actually want. We just said all that. And then our third step is to make the URL. This is really easy for us because we're making a very simple request. But, so you always got to figure out your base. And then usually you have to pass in some kind of parameter like an API key. And then if we were more complicated, like we only wanted Etsy posts from the zip code 98052, which is where I grew up, we would pass that in as a third thing and concatenate it on top of these other strings. But we're not going to do that today. We're just making a simple request. Wait, how did we figure out how to structure the URL? If this is something you want to play around with, I think WordNick is a really, really, really great tool for that. Wonderful beginner's tool. And the reason for that is this is back to that dictionary API I've been talking about this whole presentation. They let you play around with passing in random parameters. Like if I want to query only for words that have the word Detroit in the definition, because we get them from Detroit, I can do that. And I can throw in only nouns. And you can play around and try different things and add more parameters and take some away. And then it shows you very, very easily what the whole URL would look like once you added all those parameters, and also what the results would be. So very fun to mess around with. If you want to learn more about structuring URLs, that is where I would send you. For this one, it's like super simple. I just copied and pasted something from the website. Cheating. Cool. So now's the fun part that you all came for, where we actually dive in and play with puppets. So I need 3 really goofy and excited volunteers, or just one of those 2. And if no one volunteers, I'm actually going to pull people up on stage, so at least volunteer your friend. Yeah, come on up. We got 1. Need 2 more. Right there, yeah, and a man in the back. All right. And I'm going to explain a few things to our brave volunteers for a moment while we get ready. So in the meantime, I have a little task for you because I know a lot of developers were very introverted. But one of the great things about these conferences is meeting all these cool people from different places. So please follow these instructions and turn to the people around you and introduce yourselves. And if you don't, then you get called up on stage too. So go. Cool. Do you guys want to come up here? Awesome. Thank you so much for volunteering. I was a little worried for a minute. Okay, so I need... Yeah. By all means, pick your favorite puppet of the ones on this table. All right, and you're going to be our URLConnection. Okay. So you get this name tag. Okay. And I have a specific instruction for you. This is the hardest part of your whole role. Okay. At some point in time, you're going to read this script, and when this happens, I'm going to hand you this piece of paper, and you're going to show the crowd, and then you're going to rip it up and pull this out of your back pocket and show the crowd this instead. You're literally going to rip it up on stage. Oh, okay. Yeah, and then show them this one instead. Okay. Does that make sense? Sure. Cool. Rip it up on. Awesome. And I'm going to put this in the back pocket. Yeah, and you're going to show that after you rip this up. All right, and... Oh, is this out of order? Wait, did I give you the wrong one? URLConnection, turn website. You have the website. Okay, here we go. You're our input stream. So, oh, this is mine. So this important part of yours is when this line comes along, you're going to take the piece of paper that he currently has in his back pocket. Mm-hmm. You're going to rip it up. And then you're going to pull this out of your pocket and show it instead. Okay. So, I don't have any pockets, but I'll figure it out. Oh, yeah. So, what happens before this? When you've got a line here. Oh. All of your lines are highlighted. I think that's your first line. I have many lines. Yeah, you've got a few. Okay. Yeah. Let me rehearse. I think this is your first line right here. Okay. And then when this happens, after I say this, you're going to take a piece of paper from him, rip it up, and show that one instead. Oh, that's it? Okay. Yeah. Okay, and you are our buffered input stream. You have a very similar role than Ben may do. So I have another, this is a really goofy joke, but I think you can pull it off. So you're going to start, we're just going to demonstrate how long it takes to read something with a bad method. So you're going to start saying 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, you know, random ones and zeros. And then I want you to talk over me for this entire line. Like just keep saying 1, 1, 1, 1, 0 while I'm talking until I say the word stop. Okay. That's instruction number 1. So do I read all of this? You're going to, 1, 0 part. Yeah, you're going to read until you get to the 1 zeros and then just keep making up ones and zeros. Okay, and so then, I'm sorry. Yeah, I read all of this. Yeah. And then, I keep reading all of this while you're talking, or just the 1, 0, 1, 0 part? Just the 1, 0 part. Yeah. Oh, you got it. And then down here, this is kind of messy, but when this happens, you're going to take the piece of paper that she's holding up out of her hands, rip it up on stage, and then whip this out of your back pocket and show it instead. Okay. Okay? And in which part again? This one right here where it says rip up the picture. Okay. You're going to take it from her, rip it up, and then show this instead. Okay. Yeah. And this is your... slow like a sentence. Is it me? It's short for I'm going to, right? I do that all the time. I didn't know if it was you can read it however you want. Okay. I think I'm funny and I'm not. Here, this is a badge for you. What was that? You're going to hold this, or are you going to hold it? This is your puppet, so you're going to hold it and talk with it like this. Oh, seriously? Yeah, I'm serious. So and there's your badge. So you've got a puppet. Do you have a puppet? Yeah. Awesome. No, you should. It's not getting weird. It's getting awesome. It certainly is. All right, I'll be this girl. I have no idea what this sentence says, but I'm gonna figure it out. Oh, this URLConnection is me. Yeah, that's you. The ones that are highlighted are you. Yeah. Okay. And you really, there's like, it's written all stupid and funny. What was that?
How did you come up with it?
I don't know.
She's a middle school teacher.
Exactly. Yeah. In my next life, I will be. All right, I'm going to stand over here because I've got to operate the PowerPoint. But everybody ready? Let's switch order. How about we have you down at the end because you're the last one, and you in the middle here,
But
and then
they go from this way to this way.
oh,
Sorry,
that's okay.
that was my thinking.
No, you're good. Yeah, you're gonna be here.
Okay.
Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
You look great. This is fantastic.
Come on, guys, cheer up. Cheer us up.
Yeah,
There you go.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, henceforth begins our puppet show. We have a lot of brave volunteers up here, so make sure to laugh really hard. If fake, then at least still laugh at all of their jokes, and we're going to cheer for them really loudly at the end, right? Okay, let's start with a cheer right now. Woo! Okay, and on to you.
Hello. My name is URLConnection, and I'm a variable that holds the value of a URL. Once you pass me that URL, you can forget about it. You can also command me to connect to it. I connect your computer to the internet. More specifically, the website you gave me.
Wait, but I don't get it. Yeah, amazing. Wait, but I don't get it. Can you use an analogy with cookies to explain it?
Sure. If this is where all about making cookies, I would really be an ingredient. I wouldn't be, sorry. I wouldn't really be an ingredient. More like I'm the fingers that turn the oven on. The URL you put in me, it's like the temperature you chose for the oven.
Perfect, thank you so much. Here's this URL connection. And now please open connection.
Okay. I got it. But what kind of request are you making here? Like, should I get information? Or should I post the information?
I don't get it. Get, post, what's all the difference? Oh, it's okay, little puppet. I'll explain it. Again, with some cookies. So there's also put and patch requests that we can make with JSON calls, but that's like the 202 talk. We're not going to talk about that today. The two main calls that we make with JSON are called get and post. So if we were talking about this in terms of cookies, a get request would be like you're at the cookie restaurant, and you just like ask your waiter or waitress to go get you the cookies, and he or she comes back with the cookies, and that's it. It's over. It's very simple. However, a post request is a little more complicated. A post request is like, hey, all you guys over there, you're one cookie colony and you grow ingredients. So you have flour and you have chocolate chip trees and you have rivers that flow with eggs. But you guys over here have a factory that makes cookies and you don't have any ingredients because you don't know how to farm. So it's like you guys need each other to coexist and produce the cookies. So in this case, the post request is like the boatman between your two colonies. So you guys pack up all of your chocolate chips, all your eggs, all your sugar, all your flour. The boatman post request goes across the aisle. He brings it over to you guys. You unload the boat. You put it through the factory. You make the cookies. And then you send the cookies back to these guys. I don't know why you don't get cookies. You just don't. So those are the two main types of requests. Does everyone feel good about that? Yay! Okay.
So, I got what you want. The website is missing. There you go. Where's the website you want?
Woo! Oh no, but that's a lot of information. How do I get all of that back into my code?
Hey, we didn't try this, okay? There's no trial.
This is improv right now.
Improv.
Guys, I totally get this. Java's got two input-output systems. One for characters, aka letters, and one for bytes, aka zeros and ones. I'm from the one handling bytes. I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm from the one handling bytes. I'm gonna help you as we go between. Wait, I can do my own voice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna help you as we go between Wait, I lost my spot. I'm going to help you add the go-between of the website and your code. I can take pure, raw bytes streaming in from the internet and like, accept them.
Wait, I'm still confused. Oh, don't worry, Puppet, I got you. So say that, let's go back to making cookies. So we sent a request out and we got all of the cookie ingredients, but they're really raw right now. Like, we can't eat raw eggs, right? We'll get salmonella. And as such, you can't process bytes with a string, right? You need something in the middle to cook it up and make it beautiful and lovely and melty in your mouth. So input stream is kind of like the mixing bowl for the ingredients. We're not baking them yet, we're not turning them into characters yet, but the input stream is just holding all of the bytes, bringing them all in, accepting all of them, and then just kind of containing them. Does that make sense to everyone? Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Oh, that's me, sorry.
Network issue. Loading, yes.
All right, takes the website picture from the URLConnection, shows up with ones and zeros. Oh yeah. and then here's a new one.
Woo! Awesome. Nice, but I need letters and like words, not just a bunch of like ones and zeros. Whatever will I do? If you're a byte from the Java I/O system, I need another friend who's from the character side of the Java I/O system.
That'll be the third one.
Yeah, like without me, you'd be reading like this: 1 0 1 1 1 1 1 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 0 1.
Wait, okay, I got it. Yes. Okay, so wait, I'm still confused. Oh, good, we have another cookie analogy coming up, so get prepared. So the buffered input stream, our new friend here down at the end, is kind of like the oven that we're going to put the mixed up ingredients in to turn them into real cookies. So this is the guy down here, the woman as it were, who's going to take raw bytes and turn them into actual like characters. But there's two ways to do this. One would be like an input stream reader, but that's super, super slow. It's going to take one byte at a time, read it, and then another byte, and then read it, and then another byte, and then read it. And that would be kind of like if we were making cookies, putting one cookie in the oven, letting it bake, taking it out, eating it, putting another cookie in the oven, taking it out, eating it, putting another cookie. I could keep this joke going for a really long time.
That's a bad
but
diet. On a diet, they can't decide.
Oh, terrible. Yeah. But luckily, the buffered input stream reader is like cooking in batches. So they're going to take a ton of cookies all at once, a ton of bytes all at once, and just kind of like transform them all at once. Yeah.
Okay, G. So you get the idea. Instead of letting some of the lame input string reader read this character by character, I'm just going to take all of the information at once, digest it all at once, instead of breaking it down, and then read all the characters from the input stream all at once with my magic dot read spell. More efficient and less costly to your presentation. Hooray! Then I'll copy it down onto a magical reusable placeholder called a string builder. It's like a string, but it can be modified in length or content can be manipulated. Whereas with the normal string, you can only replace it. Ha!
Woo! Guys, come on, you got to get the cheering up. Let's go. Woo! Okay. wait, so I had ingredients, and they were going into the oven in batches, and then what happened? This is how I talk to myself when I'm alone. Well, it's like this. The bufferedInputStream.read function is a lot like finally putting in those cookies in the oven and turning up the heat. We turn them from ingredients, like bytes, into actual cookies, which in the case of this analogy is a string. After we've made the cookies, as we mentioned down here, we have a string builder. So a normal string is kind of like my normal belly. I can only eat so many cookies, and then I would have to vomit them up or something if I wanted to eat more. So instead, we use, this is like my dream world. Someday I'll have an expandable belly, and then I can just get rid of it all at once. Still working on that second part. But a string builder is a lot like an expandable belly. It can take more and more and more characters in. You don't have to replace the string and start all over. It just takes more and more in, and then at the very end concatenates it all to a string for you to use. There's also a thing called string buffer that you could use for this, but it's slower. So cool Android devs these days use string builder. And that is the end of our puppet show. Please give these people a huge round of applause. Thank you guys so much. It's more fun with friends. All right, we're going to do a thumbs down, thumbs middle, thumbs up for that. Does everyone understand what's going on? Oh, puppets, man. Yes, you can. Cool. So now where are we at? So now we've got this huge long string. And so we were in the do in background. We linked to the website. We went up. We got the data. We returned it in the form of bytes. We put it in the oven. We pulled it out. It was cookies, aka it was a huge long string of information. And we need like 2% of the words that came back in that string. So how are we going to get them? Well, we're going to parse it. This is all the things I just said. This is what our string looks like right now. And we need approximately that part and this part and not the rest of it. Except it's way longer than this. So, so now we need to move into that second method where we're going to parse all of the stuff that we found in the JSON string. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that whole string and then pass it into our new JSON Object class. So it's really simple. All you have to do is instantiate a JSON object and put the string in it. And then it makes this like fancy object. But as we talked about earlier, that object is the entirety of all of the information that we got. It's 1,500 things long. It's a lot of info. But then remember, this goes back to that whole thing about nesting. The things we actually need aren't just a direct sub-object of the big object. They're inside that JSON array up there called results. So we've got to get from this huge JSON object into that smaller JSON array called results, which is still really long, and then from within that array get to just the first object up there. So to get into the results array, this is what you're going to do. First, you make a little final string called results, and it's important that it looks exactly like that. It's important that it looks exactly like it does in the actual JSON string, because if it doesn't, your computer's really stupid, right? So it's never going to find it. And then the next thing you're going to do is put the entire object you just made, which is the big long thing, into a new JSON array with the parameter results. So your JSON, so your code knows to search through all of your JSON object for just the array called results and just get that information. So now we're inside the array, which is inside the object. And now I need another volunteer. Surprise! Someone who hasn't already been up yet and wants to stand. I'm going to stand here awkwardly. Yes, come on up. So this fine gentleman right here is going to be our parser class. And you get a pink name badge, because you look like you like pink. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. What's your name?
Rushan.
Rushan. Everyone give a round of applause for our new volunteer. Yeah. I'm actually going to have you get off the stage because we're going to have you close your eyes and walk around. Yeah. So right here next to this gentleman, oh, actually, I'm not going to tell you. You go stand over there. So you close your eyes. See where I'm pointing right here? We haven't already given it away. This is the first object. But just for the sake of this game, we're actually going to have our friend here go all the way to the third object, which we call object number 2. And you're going to help guide him to this first object. Ready? So everyone's going to shout instructions at him like, hey, turn 90 degrees to the left, turn 90 degrees to the right, spin in a circle 6 times, whatever it is. And we're going to try and guide him together to this first object. Ready? Everyone take up your cool card and just rip it up. We're not going to be cool right now. We're just going to be awesome. OK? Ready? Set, go. All right, take a couple steps forward. You've got like 3 steps in front of you. Ready? Couple more, and stop. Now, yeah, turn to the right, 90 degrees. And, OK, open your eyes. OK, so now we're at object 0. We found it. But we're actually trying to get to object 2 right now because of the game. So why don't you pick up that first description? It's the biggest paper on that table right there, and read to us what object it is. It's on the back. Oh, bummer. We've got to keep playing. All right, close your eyes again. I'm so mean.
You want me to read it? Or?
No, that's OK. It's the wrong one, so it's useless to us. All right, close your eyes again. All right, everybody. The next one is at the end of that table. OK. Oh, you found it! Woo! All right, you can open your eyes. What object is that one?
Now you want me to turn around and see it.
Oh, it's useless again. All right, put it back down and close your eyes. And I dropped another one back there, and I think someone might, it's right, everyone see where that was?
I just opened my eyes and
No, that's just not fun at all. All right, everybody, let's get him to his last object so we can end this man's misery. We found it! Woo! All right, our brave parser class has gone through to find us the correct object that we were looking for, and now we need the title of that object. Will you look for the smaller paper and read it for us, please? It says title on it. Yes. All right, that's awesome. And we're going to save that to a string. And now we need the description. Will you find the one that says description, please, and read it for us?
This is an original mixed media work on board. The work measures y, x, s, and is ready to hang.
Thank you so much for your help. You can return to your seat. If you see this guy out later, buy him a drink. We owe him one. So, all right. So our brave parser class has found us the correct object, has found us the title, has found us the description. We just returned that string array that he gave us, and thank you. Awesome. This poor guy reading my handwriting. It's like my handwriting is the same level as my maturity, so it's not great. And we returned that title and description in the form of an array. But where does it go? The mystery of async tasks. Well, we go to a magic method called Onpostexecute that we haven't talked about yet. So async tasks, when you return the information you want from them, go to this other method that you didn't even know you called because it's so secretive, called the Onpostexecute. And what it's going to do is take that string array in there. And if we were building like a grown-up actual professional app, we would use an interface to pass that information back to our main UI thread. However, we're making a really simple Cliff Notes cheap app, so we're just going to set the text view to our new results. Everyone feel good about this? All right. So in Onpostexecute, we do that. This was our app before we did anything. Everyone, can we just like do a drum roll? Ready? This is the moment we've all been building for. A puppet show, a blinded man. Woo! We got the information! Yay! Okay, that's it. Hopefully you guys had a really good time. I must have talked faster than I usually do, which is rare, so we're early. But if you want to come chat with me afterwards, I like to talk. I guess we can do Q&A right now, too. If you had a good time, feel free to tweet at me or my company. If you didn't have a good time, then go home. And that's it. And nice to meet you guys.